Hi, I'm Silvano, and today let's design a Chelsea boot with a stacked heel and a double sole. Let's start with two perpendicular lines, establish the length, a midpoint, and the heel height. And then from the heel height to the midpoint, and then the toe, lifting it 5-6 millimeters. A 90-degree angle the back height, and then from there to the toe. And then another 90-degree angle, and then again straight perpendicular to the midpoint. Now we can start rounding the shank, the toe, following the line or making a little rounder, and then designing the toe of the boot. And rounding off the back. Now the back of the boot, connecting it to the middle of the back height, the top height, and the front of the boot, connecting it to the toe. And this is your outline of the boot. And now, roughly, we design the elastic. Down straight and then parallel to the shank line. And then we round off the line in the front, and same thing in the back. And maybe we do a pull tab in the back, like so, and the elastic. We have the rough sketch. Now we lower the opacity and we go over with the pencil, adjusting the line as we want to, as we need to, so that we have at the end a clean pencil drawing of the Chelsea boot as we want it. All the way around, adjusting every curve and every little line the way we think is best. The pull tab and down all the way to the bottom and around the boot, around the elastic, again adjusting slightly the line as you see fit. And here we always do kind of a classic interpretation of these shoes. And now we can click off the rough sketch. And at this point, we'll start on a new layer, designing the rough part of the sole, starting from the storm welt. And then from there, the welt, a little bit wider at the toe and a little narrower in the back of the boot. And then we determine the thickness of the sole, and it's a double sole, so it's a bit thicker than normal, and the heel. Make it a longer heel. This is going to be a stacked heel and a double sole with the welt in the front. And now again we lower the opacity and we trace it, making slight changes where we need adjustment. And again, all the way around the sole, the heel, and the end we'll click off the rough sketch, leaving the clean one. Add the top lift, And now I forgot to split here the pattern. And now in the front I want to have a stitched welt. So we're making a heavier stitch around the toe, around the welt area. And now with the airbrush, I go around the whole boot and sole. And as I always say, I do this process because it makes the line softer and rounder at the end. I like to retrace it with the airbrush. And even here again, I'll clean up the lines as I go. On the back and all around the elastic top, the pull tab. And I do the same thing for the sole. Again, the storm welt, the welt. And here you have to try to be as steady as possible and make your line clean. Same thing for the heel. And top lift. And the bottom of the sole. And there you have it, your clean sketch. Now I fill the top lift and I'm starting to sketch the stacked. On a stacked heel you see the stacking of the leather, one on top of the other to form the heel. So we'll design that, and also the double sole. So it shows it's a double sole, it's not just one layer. And then I start with the shading, starting from the heel. Again, highlighting the darker part of the heel, leaving white where the light hits. And again, all the layer of the heel, and same thing for the sole. And I feel the inside of the heel. There is no light there, so it's under the sole, so I want to shade it in black. And now I'll stitch all around. A little heavier stitch than normal, and maybe we'll do a double stitch here. All the way around, same thing for the back. And there you go. Now we'll start the shading. I'm using a brush with an elastic type texture, and I fill all the way the whole elastic. And now I'll start to shade the shoe using a regular airbrush, starting from the bottom, the toe, and the back. Now around the elastic, a little darker, and the middle, and then again the toe, leaving white where the rounder part of the last is, and I darken the side of the shaft, and a little bit the front. And same thing for the back. A little darker around the edge. And a little bit in the back. And now with white, I do the back of the top lift. Even there, the light hits there, and it shows that it's around their heel. And there you have it. Now I do the bottom, and our sketch is complete. Chelsea boot. A little bit the sole, actually, I forgot here. And the front of the sole. And there you go. Chelsea boot. On the next video, we'll sketch a ballerina. See you then.